Falcons wide receiver Calvin Ridley suspended by the NFL for gambling, how the Jets should approach the now dwindling free agent market, and a recently released player who could be a good fit for Gangrene next season. Those are the big headlines of the day. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. If you like what I'm doing, smash the like button. Breaking news this afternoon. All the big guys on Twitter had it. Shefty, Field the Eights. Calvin Ridley suspended one whole season, 2022, by the NFL for gambling. And now we just have some more breaking news. More specifics. He was gambling at a Hard Rock casino in Florida, and he put down some parlay bets on NFL games, including Falcons games. We don't know if this were games that he played in or games that were being played without him after he took his leave of absence for mental health. This is huge. Obviously, another receiver off the market for the Jets. We're going to talk about how this impacts their free agency approach. But man, this is just disappointing because I was really in Calvin's corner with the mental health thing. Some people were, I think, being a little unsensitive to him stepping away, saying he quit on his team. And mental health is something that's near and dear to my heart. And now it's just not a good look, Calvin. And honestly, for me, this might be a lifetime ban. It really might. Because now we see he's betting on his own team. If he's betting in games he's played in, he's done. He's done. Because now you're compromising the integrity of your sport as a whole. If you think guys could be potentially going out there and tossing games to win bets. Now you're the WWE. You're a circus if you're doing that. Or if there is the reputation that you might be doing that. If there's the implication that you might be doing that. There's a chance you might be doing that. The NFL is not going to let this fly. So it's 2022 at a minimum for Calvin Ridley. And he only had his rookie contract. Like, I don't know if his fifth-year option is going to get voided now. This is really sad. This is really sad. And he's got a young kid. And, oh, man, what a waste. What a dumb thing to do. And I'm trying to be empathetic, but it's tough because how many of us would kill to have the opportunity to, as we say all the time, go out there and play a sport for a living and make millions of dollars and set up our family for generations. And you're going to throw it away just tossing some bets around. Maybe he didn't, I don't know, maybe it was ignorance. But then now I'm seeing, just on Twitter right now, he's saying, I know I was wrong, but really I got a year, LOL. Yeah, LOL. Like, so this right here, just a lack of maturity. I think he's done. I think he's done. And this has to be a priority for the Jets this offseason in bringing in high character guys. It's something we say every year. Every team says it, but you have to actually prioritize it because it matters. It matters. We have to build a culture here. And that's why I love CJ Mosley. Is he worth the crazy cap hit to play, above average middle linebacker? No. But we need more men like that. We do. And if there's these reports out here that Kayvon Thibodeau maybe is giving us some Jamal Adams vibes, I'm out. I just made a video breaking down Kayvon. He's a beast. But if you can get 85% of them in a Jermaine Johnson, a George Karlaftis, and those guys' character checks out all the way, I'm passing on Kayvon. I am. If there's any doubt. Left the combine early. Not to be petty, but I'm scrolling through his Twitter and it just seems like me. Not a lot of team. We have to change our culture. Obviously, you have to prioritize talent, and you can make an exception or two, right? We all see that in our workplace. The one guy who everyone knows is kind of an asshole, but the boss looks the other way when he shows up late or doesn't come to the meetings because his sales numbers are off the charts. You can have one, but you can't build a team like that. You can't build an organization like that. You can't do it. And you saw what happened with the Oakland Raiders when they wanted to bring in Richie Incognito and everybody. It seemed like if you had a felony charge, the Raiders were on the phone. The Raiders were, I'm imagining their Raiders front office like Better Call Saul. and you just become, and then if you don't win big, then you're just a joke. Where I'd rather be a team that's maybe fighting for a wild card spot and has some integrity in our players. Now, let's move to this. How does this affect the Jets in the wide receiver market? Okay, the wide receiver market is shrinking fast. Chris Godwin, coming off a torn ACL, Bucs still tagged him. Mike Williams, reports are that the LA Chargers are looking to tag him. They got plenty of cap space, so I don't see why they let him walk out the door. Now Calvin Ridley, suspended. Odell Beckham tore his ACL the last game of the season. Jamison Williams could have been in play at the 10th pick. Tore his ACL last game of the year. So where do the Jets move? How do they pivot? Also, Amari Cooper maybe going to be released and not traded. So now the Jets will have to compete with all these other teams to sign him. But I don't think it's time for the Jets to panic here. I think what the Jets should do is set their numbers for Amari Cooper, for Allen Robinson, for Christian Kirk. Set your number and walk away, and then go receiver at 10. The best guy there at 10. That's all you need to do. You don't need to crazy overpay a receiver when you have the 10th overall pick, and I think that there are 4 receivers who you can justify spending that 4th overall pick on. Hopefully Garrett Wilson. And Christian Kirk, kind of a hot name, feels like a Kenny Golladay signing to me. Feels like a number 2 who someone's just going to throw number 1 money at because they're desperate. Because they got a coach on the hot seat or they got a young quarterback. So let's not do that. I'm looking at Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson, and then 10th pick if both those guys say no. Tight end market, shrinking a little bit too. Here, I'm more nervous. This is a more dire need, and you're not taking a tight end at 10. And we don't know who's going to be on the board at 35 and 38. Dalton Schultz, reports are he's getting tagged. David Njoku, reports are he's getting tagged. Now, top guy on the market is Zach Ertz. A little older, there's going to be a lot of competition for Zach Ertz. Here, I might overpay. I might just bite the bullet and overpay for Zach Ertz because we need a proven professional at that position. We can't walk into the season with just a second-round pick and Kenny Yeboah. Can't do it. So here we might have to overpay and then draft a guy. This is one of the positions, tight end along with safety, where we have to sign a guy and draft a player. And draft a player like in the first 3 rounds, pretty high. Because I think those are the 2 worst rooms on the roster last year. So that works for me. Sign Zach Ertz, draft Trey McBride, Trey learns from Zach, and then maybe you release Zach, or hopefully you can get him on a 1-year deal. So that seems like the move to me, but I'm okay with overpaying for Zach Ertz a little bit on a 1 or 2 year deal. Now we just talked about safety, another position the Jets need to upgrade. Breaking news. Jesse Bates looking like he's going to get tagged for Cincinnati. Kind of a no-brainer for them. Oh, I love Jesse Bates. I liked him even better than Marcus Williams. I think he would have been a really good fit for this team. Now, it's a position of dire need just like tight end, but I don't think we need to panic as much as we might need to at tight end because there are lots of quality starters on the market at safety. Obviously, Williams and Bates are the 2 big names. There's quite a drop-off in the next tier, but you can get a lot of quality starters, a Justin Reed, a Whitehead. There's many guys that you can bring in for $5, $6, $7 million a year and plug in as a starter, and then go ahead and draft a safety in the 2nd or 3rd round to compete with your young guys for that second safety position. So we're okay there. We're okay at safety. Now, offensive line. Rumors as well, mostly around the center position. And I'm starting to change my mind on this swapping out McGovern for Jensen. Of all the holes on the roster, Connor McGovern just seems like a weird place to be looking to make a move right now. He's yet to turn 29 years old. Pro Football Focus score of 76 last year. And he's played in all but one game since we signed him. So you can argue that he hasn't lived up to the contract, but he's been our most dependable offensive lineman the last 2 years. And now his cap hits $10 million. That's not bad. So he's basically on a 1-year, $10 million contract. So now would we rather do that and have the flexibility to pivot in a different direction next season at center? Or do we want to tie a 2-3 year contract to Jensen, who's older, who had a lower Pro Football Focus score last year, who commits more penalties? And I get it, he's a bigger name. I like the toughness that he brings. He played with Tom Brady. He's a Super Bowl champion. But I'm not convinced he's an upgrade, and he would cost more money. So I'm sticking up for Connor McGovern here. I think I want to hang on to him. Maybe we draft a center in the mid-rounds and then see how they do and see if we can let McGovern walk next year to save that money. I'm hanging on to him, though. And offensive line, you want as much continuity as possible. You don't want turnover on the offensive line unless you're really making significant upgrades. So just swapping apples for apples and have a new guy come in and learn the system, learn the quarterback, learn the offensive lineman to his left and right doesn't make sense to me now that I think about it. So I'm hanging on to McGovern. So what do I think the Jets' offensive line approach should be in free agency? For me, this is really simple. There's just one way to go here. Go out and spend what it costs to get a quality starting right guard. Whichever one you like, that will come here. My pick would be Laken Tomlinson because he never misses games. He's under 30. You can get him for probably $9-10 million, and he knows the coaching staff. He knows the offense. That would be my guy. We got to make that move. And then we're looking pretty good. Becton and Fant at tackles. AVT along with the veteran you bring in, and I just said bring back McGovern at center. And then we need to draft for depth. I'm probably looking at maybe a swing tackle in the 3rd round. And we're doing okay. We're doing okay at offensive line. That's the big hole. Right guard and then depth. Finally, breaking news. A player that just became available that I think would be worth the Jets floating an offer to. Kyle Van Noy has been released by the New England Patriots. And I know he's a player that whenever he's left New England, he's underperformed and then he's gone back. But when we talk about what we talked about at the top, building a culture, I think this would be a really great culture signing. And you're talking a 1-year deal, not a ton of money. Does he want to be a part of a rebuild? I don't know. He kind of did what felt like a quasi-retirement, sailing off to the sunset in Miami. And he didn't like it there. He didn't like the culture there. And this is why maybe having a guy like CJ Mosley can convince him to come. Because CJ Mosley is highly respected around the NFL, especially in linebacker circles. So you're talking CJ Mosley with Kyle Van Noy, and then maybe a rookie that you bring in as your new linebackers. Man, that's an upgrade. That's an upgrade. And 5 sacks last year for Kyle Van Noy. 73 Pro Football Focus score. That's better production than any of our linebackers put up. So he helps you in the pass rush. He helps you in the run game. Not great in coverage, but he's at least going to know his assignment. That could be a really good move. Could be a really good move. Well, that's a lot of news today. The wide receiver, tight end, and safety market has shrunk a little bit, but there's no need to panic except for maybe at tight end. Panic meter is now at a 7 at tight end. Offensive line, let's hang on to Connor McGovern. He's fine. He's solid. We have many other areas on the roster we need to worry about besides center. And Joe Douglas, pick up the phone. Call Kyle Van Noy's agent. And let's bring him in town. That's it for today, everybody. Tomorrow, I will be going live. I will be a guest on the Jude Jets show. I am humbled by his invitation to be on. We'll be on live at 6 p.m. If you like what I'm doing, throw me a like. Hit that red button to subscribe. Thank you for watching. And as always, go Jets.